Hello everyone, thanks for popping by again and seeing me today. So what have I got today? Well, today we're going to look at Group C of the upcoming Euros tournament. And in Group C, we have Austria, Ukraine, North Macedonia and Holland or Netherlands, depending how you want to call them. Yeah, so thanks very much for coming. I hope that you enjoy this video and you find it interesting. Please remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it already. Please put a like on the video and please remember to share it around with anyone who you think might be interested in seeing it. That would be really, really, really helpful. Anyway, so without any further ado, let's get on into it, I guess. Now, before we get into it, I just want to apologise about that monstrosity of a video that I put out yesterday about Group B. The first one that I put out was a mess, so I'm really sorry about that. I did re-edit it this morning and I put a much better version out this morning, so I hope that you've all liked that. So far I put out one about Group A and Group B, and today we're looking at Group C. And hopefully tomorrow I'll be putting one out about Group D. So there you go. I hope that you're enjoying these and let's get on with it. Right, okay, so here we go. This is the Group C preview, like I said. So let's get straight into it. So the first team up on the hockey today is Austria. Now the Austrian team, the Austrian Football Association is their governing body, and it became a member of FIFA in 1905, and it has been a UEFA member since 1954. Austria has qualified for 7 World Cups, and which most recently was in 1998. And the country played in the UEFA European Championship for the first championship finals for the first time in 2008, when they co-hosted the event with the Swiss Association. And most recently, the most recent qualification obviously is for this particular tournament this summer. Now, the best World Cup result was in 1954 when they finished 3rd, when they defeated Uruguay 3-1 in the 3rd and 4th place playoff. And the Austrians have never really enjoyed any major successes at the Euros. And in fact, they've never got past the first qualifying round. Now, Austria's UEFA ranking is 31st and their FIFA ranking is 23rd. Now, in their qualifying, they qualified for Euro 2020 from Group G, where they finished 2nd behind the Polish team. And in their qualifying group, they lost to Poland at home and drew 0-0 away. They defeated North Macedonia at home 2-1 and defeated them 4-1 away. And then they defeated Slovenia 1-0 at home and 1-0 away. They defeated Israel 3-1 at home but lost 4-2 away. And then they defeated Latvia 6-0 at home but lost 1-0 away. So if we take a look at their combined record in World Cups and European Championship finals, they played 39 games, won 16, drawn 5, lost 18, and scored 56 goals and conceded 60, and accumulated 53 points. So yeah, it's fairly sort of equal really between defeats and losses really there. Now their position, if we look at their position, if we take a comparison with their performance against all the other finalists in this year's tournament. Historically, Austria are the 13th best team of the 24 teams that were qualified for this tournament. And now, so let's move on. Let's move on. Their current form going into this European Championship is that they drew with Scotland 2-2. They defeated the Faroe Islands 3-1. They lost to Denmark 4-0. They lost to England 1-0. And they drew 0 most recently with Slovakia. So, moving on. Just give me 2 seconds. Now, Austria's manager is a chap by the name of Franco Foda, and he became with the Austrian national team in January 2018. Whilst he has been in charge, he's played 34 games. He's won 20, drawn 5, and lost 9, and he's got a win percentage of 58.82. Now, players to watch in this team are a chap by the name of Konrad Lamar. Now, he has recently been playing with RB Leipzig, but apparently the rumour is that he's due to sign for Chelsea in September this year. He was called up to the Austrian national team in 2018, but he made his senior debut on the 7th of June 2019 in a Euro 2020 qualifier against Slovenia. Now, another one to watch in this team is David Alaba. In October 2009, he was called up for the senior Austrian national team for a match against France, and he made his debut in this game, which made him the youngest player in the history of the Austrian national team. He scored his first goal for Austria on the 16th of October 2012 in a World Cup qualifying game against Kazakhstan at home, where Austria won out 4-0 winners. Now, who are they going to face in their group? So in their group, they'll be playing North Macedonia on the 13th of June at the Arena Națională, Bucharest. They'll be playing the Netherlands on the 17th of June in the Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam. And then finally, they'll be playing Ukraine on the 21st of June at the Arena Națională, again in Bucharest. Now, so if they Austrian team manage to get out of their group, if they win the group, they will face in the next round a third place team from either Group D, Group E, or Group F, and they'll be playing them in Budapest. If they finish second in Group C, they will face the country that finishes first in Group A in London. And then if they finish third in their qualifying group, they could face either the winners of Group E or Group F, depending on their record when qualifying third, when compared with the other third place finishers. And that game could take place in either Bucharest or Glasgow. Right, so moving on, who have we got next here? Right, so the next team up is the Netherlands. Now, the Netherlands was formed in the Netherlands Association, was formed in 1995, and it was one of the founding members of FIFA in 1904. It's a bit strange. How can you be formed a year after you joined the FIFA? But anyway, and one of the first non-British football, and was one of the first non-British football associations in Europe. Now, in their qualifying, let's see how they qualified for this tournament. So they qualified from Group C, where they came second to Germany, and in their qualifying group, they lost 3-2 at home to the Germans and won 4-2 away. And then they defeated Northern Ireland at home by 3-1 and drew 0-0 away. And then they defeated Belarus 4-0 at home and 2-1 away. And then they won 5-0 away at home to Estonia and defeated the Estonians 4-0 away. Now, as far as their record in World Cup finals and European Championships is concerned, they've played 80 games and they've won 42, drawn 18, lost 20, scored 128 goals and conceded 76. So they managed also to accumulate 144 points. Now, if you compare their record in World Cup finals and European Championship finals against the other finalists for this tournament, historically, Holland or the Netherlands are the 6th best team of the 24 teams who have qualified for this tournament. Now, they are widely regarded as one of the best teams in world football to have never won a FIFA World Cup. They have been runners-up on 3 occasions in 1974, 1978 and 2010. Their best performance in the Euros came in 1988 when they defeated the Soviet Union 2-0 in the final. And Netherlands' FIFA ranking is 12th and their FIFA ranking is 16th. Now, let's look now at their current form. Now, their most recent performances have seen the Dutch, they played Turkey, in the game which they lost by 4-2. They defeated Latvia 2-0 and they defeated Gibraltar 7-0. They drew with Scotland 2-2 and they defeated Georgia by 3-0. Now, their head coach, Frank de Boer, he was appointed on the 23rd of September last year, and he has a contract until the end of 2022. On the 11th of November 2020, after a 1-1 draw with Spain, de Boer became the first ever Netherlands manager to fail to win any of his first 4 fixtures. His record as Dutch manager so far is that he's played 11, won 5, drawn 4 and lost 2 with a win percentage of 45.5. So yeah, to me it sounds like he needs to up his game a bit if he wants to keep hold of that job, I'd say. Anyway, so players to watch out for this summer in their team are Matthias de Ligt, who is a centre-back at Juventus, and he made his debut for the national team in 2017, and since then he has made 27 appearances and scored 2 goals. Another one to watch out for is former Liverpool player Georgie Wijnaldum. I think Wijnaldum. Yeah, I'm not sure how you say his surname, but there you go. He's a midfielder, and I believe he's in the process at the moment of moving from Liverpool to PSG. I do know that he's told Liverpool that he doesn't want to sign a new contract, and he looks likely that he'll be joining PSG. He made his international debut in 2011, and so far he has made 75 appearances and scored 22 goals. Now, who are they going to play in Group C and when? So their first game will be against Ukraine on the 13th of June, and that will be at the Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam. And in fact, all their games are going to be at home in the first, in the Group C. They'll be playing all their games at the Johan Cruyff Amsterdam Arena. The next game will be against Austria on the 17th of June. And then finally, they will be playing North Macedonia on the 21st of June. Now, if they win the group, they will face a third place team in the next round, either from Group D, Group E or Group F in Budapest. If they finish second in Group C, they will face the country that finishes first in Group A in London at Wembley Stadium. And if they finish third in their qualifying group, they could face either the winners of Group E or Group F, depending on their record when compared to other teams who finished third in their qualifying group. So, yeah, there you have it. And that game will be played either at Bucharest or Glasgow. Now, so who have we got next? So, yeah, that was the Dutch story, but who's up next? That's what I want to know. Oh, yes. So, North Macedonia. Now, since gaining independence from Yugoslavia, North Macedonia has achieved some impressive performances, such as a shock away win at Germany earlier this year. On the 12th of August 2009, as part of the 100th anniversary of football arriving in what is now North Macedonia, the team played a friendly match against Spain, which they won by 3-2 in front of a crowd of 30,000. On the 12th of November 2020, North Macedonia reached their first ever major tournament, having qualified for UEFA 2020 thanks to their performances in the 2018 Nations League. So in their qualification group, they were in qualifying Group G with Austria and Poland, Slovenia and Israel. Now, if we look at their performances there, they defeated Poland. They lost 1-0. They lost home and away to Poland. The first one, they lost at home 1-0 to Poland, and then they lost 2-0 away to Poland. And then they lost 4-1 at home to Austria and 2-1 away. And then Slovenia, they beat 2-1 at home and drew 1-1 away. They defeated Israel 1-0 at home and drew 1-1 away. And then finally, they defeated Latvia 3-1 at home and 2-0 away. Now, because of their performance in the Nations League, they went into a playoff tournament, and in the semi-final, they defeated Kosovo 2-1, and in the final, they defeated Georgia by 1-0 to qualify for Euro 2020. Now, their combined record, they've never ever qualified for a World Cup finals or European Championships. So there's nothing really to report about a combined record in the World Cup and European Championships. And also, if we compare them against the other finalists, there's only 2 sides who've never previously qualified for a World Cup or European Championships. Obviously North Macedonia, and the other one, well, except for obviously they qualify for this one. So yeah, there's one other team who I can't remember who that other side is. So, but anyway, their UEFA ranking is 41st, and their FIFA ranking is 62nd. So moving swiftly on, let's have a look at what their current form is like. So they defeated Romania 3-2 at home, 3-2 in a World Cup qualifying match. They defeated Liechtenstein 5-0 in a World Cup qualifying match. They defeated Germany 2-1 in a World Cup qualifying match, the game that I spoke about earlier. And then they've drawn 1-1 with Slovenia in a friendly match, and they've defeated Kazakhstan 4-0 in a friendly match. So, their coach is a chap by the name of Igor Ajalovsky, who is here. He's been chucked up in the air by his team, presumably after they qualified for Euro 2020. He has been in charge of more North Macedonian matches than any other manager. His record after 45 games is that he's won 20, drawn 10 and lost 15. So let's look at what players we could look out for in their team. Now, first one is Goran Pandev. He's won 114 caps and scored 36 goals. And he's North Macedonia's captain, and he scored the playoff final victory. He scored the playoff final winning goal against Georgia to send them to Euro 2020, and obviously as a consequence he's now a national hero. He's obviously the team leader, as well as being a creative and hard-working left-footed forward, and the 37-year-old has fantastic technique and can create goals as well as score them. He plays currently for Genoa, and he's obviously the country's most capped player and their all-time leading goal scorer. Now, then the other player to look out for is Enes Bahardi. He's had 31 caps and scored 5 goals. He plays currently for Levante, and he's a midfielder and provides excellent passing creativity, and he's got a good goal scoring threat, not least from his set pieces. And according to the statistics, he's the joint best free kick taker in the Spanish league, alongside Lionel Messi. So he's in good company there, obviously. He featured at the 2017 UEFA European Under-21 Championship in Poland, and he also possesses final tournament experience. Now, let's look at see when they're going to be playing the rest of their opponents in Group C. So they're going to be playing Austria on the 13th of June at the Arena Națională in Bucharest. They'll be playing Ukraine second on the 17th of June at the Arena Națională in Bucharest. And then finally, the Netherlands on the 21st of June at the Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam. Now, okay, so if we look at see who North Macedonia could potentially be playing next, if they win their, if they qualify out of their group as group winners, they will face either a third place team from Group D, Group E or Group F in Budapest. But then if they finish second in Group C, they will face the country that finishes first in Group A in London. But if they finish third in their qualifying group, they could face either the winners of Group E or Group F, depending on their record when finishing third in their qualifying group compared to other teams who finished third in their qualifying groups. And that game we played at Bucharest or Glasgow. Now, let's move on. Who have we got next? Who's up? Should be, I think, Ukraine, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, it is. It's the lovely Ukraine. So here we go. So the Ukrainian team have been a full member of UEFA and FIFA since 1992. After Ukraine won its independence and the country broke away from the Soviet Union, they played their first match against Hungary on the 29th of April 1992. And the team's biggest success on the world stage was reaching the quarterfinals of the 2006 FIFA World Cup, which also marked the team's debut in the finals of a major championship. Now, how did they get to the Euros, I hear you ask? Well, let's find out. So they qualified for the Euros from qualifying Group B, which they won fairly comfortably by the looks of it. They were in a group with Portugal, Serbia, Luxembourg and Lithuania. Now, they defeated Portugal at home by 2-1 and drew 0-0 with the Portuguese away 0-0. They defeated Serbia 5-0 at home and drew 2-2 away. They defeated Luxembourg 1-0 at home and 2-1 away. And then they defeated Latvia 2-0 at home and 3-0 away. So, moving on, let's see what's up next. Yeah, so let's look at their combined record in World Cup finals and European Championships finals, shall we? Right, so they played 11 games in World Cup finals and European Championship finals. They've won 3 of those games, drawn 1 and lost 7. They've scored 7 goals and conceded 16 and managed to get 10 points. Now, also, if you compare their performance in World Cup finals and European Championship finals against this summer's tournament's other finalists, Ukraine are the 21st best team of the 24 teams who have qualified for the Euros this summer. And their combined record in the World Cup and European Championship finals, has been as well. Yeah, we've just gone through that. I was just going to tell you about their combined record again, but there's no need for me to do that. It's schoolboy error there for me. Once again, they've reached 1 World Cup finals in 2006 in Germany, as I've already mentioned, when they reached the quarterfinals. And they've qualified for 3 European Championship finals in 2012, 2016, and now this one. And so far, they haven't got out of any of the first round qualifying groups. Ukraine's UEFA ranking is 18th and their FIFA ranking is 24th. Let's look now to see how they've done in the lead up to this summer's tournament, what their current form has been like. So in the last 5 games, they've drawn 1-1 with Finland in the World Cup qualifier. They've drawn 1-1 with Kazakhstan in the World Cup qualifier. They drew 1-1 with Bahrain in a World Cup qualifier. They've defeated Northern Ireland 1-0 in a friendly match. And they've defeated Cyprus by 4-0 again in a friendly match. Now, their coach is former striker, Chelsea player, and I think he played for AC Milan as well at one point, is Andrei Shevchenko. On the 15th of July 2016, Shevchenko was appointed as manager of the Ukrainian national team. And on the 14th of October 2019, Shevchenko led Ukraine to qualify for Euro 2020 with a 2-1 home win over reigning European champions Portugal. Now, he was also at one point a politician, I understand, but I don't think that went particularly well. So hopefully, for his sake, that his team do better than what his political career this summer than his political career did. Now, players to watch in their team are Andrei Yarmolenko. Now, he currently plays for West Ham United in the English Premier League as a forward. On the 5th of September 2009, he made his debut in the 2010 FIFA World Cup qualifying game against Andorra, and he made his first senior appearance for Ukraine and scored in the 5-0 win. He's gone on to make over 94 appearances and score 40 goals. Another one in their team to watch out for is Ruslan Milanovsky. I think that's right, I'm not sure. He's a midfielder who plays his club football for Atalanta in Italy, and he is apparently a set-piece specialist as well, this chap. He was first called up to the national team in 2015, and he made his senior debut in 2017, and he has since made 37 appearances and scored 6 goals. Now, in their qualifying group, they've got their first game is going to be against the Netherlands on the 13th of June at the Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam. They will then go on to play North Macedonia at the Arena Națională in Bucharest. And then finally, they end their Group C qualifying group games against Austria, again at the Arena Națională in Bucharest. Now, as I mentioned with the other 3 contenders from this group, with regards to who they're going to play next if they get out of this group, their potential next opponents will be, if they win the group, they will face 3rd place team from Group D, Group E or Group F in Budapest. If they finish 2nd in Group C, they will face the country that finishes 1st in Group A in London. And then if they finish 3rd in their qualifying group, they could face either the winners of Group E or Group F, depending on their record in comparison with other place finishers. And that game could either take place at Bucharest or in Glasgow. So, yeah. So that's Ukraine, and that completes my Group D preview. Sorry, Group C preview, I should say. Okay, well, everyone, that's the end of today's episode. I hope you found Group C interesting. Should be quite an interesting tussle in that group, I think. So, yeah, let's see what happens. Anyway, like I said, I'll be putting out a Group D preview tomorrow as well. So I hope you're going to enjoy that one. Yeah, and remember, please, if you want to help me out, please remember to subscribe to the channel. Please put a like on the video, and please make sure that you pass it around to anyone who you think might be interested. That'd be fantastic. Anyway, until then, please be nice to each other. Please make sure you spread some love and kindness and pleasure around the world, and make sure that you look after each other and talk to each other. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Please take care, and I'll see you then. Take care now. Bye.